Hey, this is Brad from the Edge 88 KDPS and the Sunday Night Sports Show, The Lowdown, here with an important message for you about your heart. Not many people realize it, but heart disease is among the leading killers in our country today. It starts with our poor diet, lack of exercise, alcohol consumption, and other unhealthy living styles. So make a change in your life today. Sign up at the gym, make a meal plan, and stick to it. This has been a public service announcement from the Edge 88 KDPS.
Better Homes and Gardens not your style? Perhaps you're looking for a magazine with a little more edge. Look no further. Try Alt Magazine.
Alt features Knoxville's own Peachtree Brewery, brewing hoppy beverages for craft beer enthusiasts.
The magazine shines light on parkour, showcasing the art of movement and its death-defying stunts. Alt has a bit of everything from do-it-yourself sushi and green company profiles to the wonders of downtown 4th Street.
Alt Magazine. We know you want to see this.
Pick up your copy of Alt Magazine today on Grandview's campus or contact Amanda Wilson at amanda.wilson@grandview.edu.
When the first thing you hear in the morning is this, do you really want to have to deal with this? Try 5-Hour Energy instead. It works fast and requires no preparation. Simply remove the cap and drink. Within seconds, you'll feel awake, alert, and ready to face the day.
Coffee makes me feel sick, but 5-Hour Energy gives me that boost without the jitters. Pick up a 5-Hour Energy. Hours of energy now, no crash later. You are listening to The Edge 88.1 with Brad and Amanda. Tonight we're going to talk about some pretty interesting things, but to start off, we would like to share what we like to do in Des Moines during the summer. So, Brad, where's a few places that you like to frequent in the summer?
My favorite thing to do in the summertime is probably go to Sec Taylor Stadium and catch an iCubs game. You don't get to hang out outside a whole lot when you live in Des Moines, so any opportunity you can get to go out there and hang out at the ballpark, it's always fun to me. How about you?
I would definitely say that that's one of my favorite things to do. Probably second favorite, I'm always a sucker for just being outside, so I would just like to go to Grays Lake and kind of walk around, and I feel like when it's not flooded, it's a really nice place in Des Moines. Waterworks is pretty cool too. They always have stuff going on there. I don't know if you ever go to anything there.
I actually went to, I think they had like a canoe thing or something last year. You could like rent a canoe for a couple hours, and I did that. So, yeah, anything.
Exercise in the summer.
Yeah, anything you can do to get outside is always a good time because we don't get to only for a couple months a year. So that's always fun. There's always a lot of stuff going on downtown. There's concerts, and the bars are always a happening place.
You can always go to Simon Estes Theater down on the river. They always have concerts. You just kind of bring your own lawn chair and sit down and hang out. And then if you're here at the 4th of July, they have Yankee Doodle Pops. Is that the fireworks downtown?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go see those. That's always a good time. So when you're in Des Moines this summer and thinking about something to do, don't think that there's absolutely nothing going on in Des Moines, because we just told you that there's plenty of great things to do. So we're going to get back to the music. Up next we have Red Light King by Old Man.
Welcome back to the Edge 88 KDPS. You're listening to Brad and Amanda. It's about 7 o'clock here on a Wednesday night, and I got a little news for some upcoming grads who out there looking for a new job, a new career. So a new survey shows that 94% of all applicants had errors on their, let's see here, get the exact fact for you. It says researchers found that 81% had spelling and grammatical errors, while nearly half were poorly laid out, and only 6% of people had no errors on their resumes. So here's some common errors that people made on their resumes. One person left an L out of their resume where it said, I'm a public relations officer. They left the L out, and it said, I'm a pubic relations officer, which I'm guessing probably got their resume thrown in the trash right away. Some other ones are words left out. This person wrote, my interests include, instead of cooking hot dogs, he wrote, my interests include cooking dogs and interesting people. So you got to be real careful about what you put on your resume, because you put something like that, that's going straight in the recycling bin. Amanda, have you had any experience with messing up on your resume?
Not that bad. I have had experience. I feel like all of us have typos every once in a while, and it's kind of part of life. I mean, even when you get into a job, there's plenty of typos in a company. But when you're trying to apply for a job, I don't think you should let them know, hey, I don't know what a public relations person actually is. That's really embarrassing. Really embarrassing. Yeah,
you got to be thorough when you're reading through your resume, because if you don't catch that, somebody else will, and it's going to cost you a job for sure. So future graduates, you're going out there looking for a job, read your resume, have someone else read your resume. Don't make embarrassing mistakes like this.
Yeah, I mean, at Grandview we have, you can take your resume to the Career Center. Your advisor, anybody I feel like would probably be more than happy to look your resume over so that you don't fall into some of these issues that some of the other people had. Those sound terrible. I would be so embarrassed.
Yeah, and it says some of these were for upper level jobs too, so it's not just little meaningless jobs that people are applying for. So be careful out there when you're making your resume and submitting it to jobs. I'm going to kick it back to the tunes right now. We got Wiz Khalifa, and he's actually coming to the Valor Ballroom pretty quick. So right now we got him with the song Roll Up, only on the Edge, 88 KDPS.
This is Brad and Amanda with the Edge 88.1. And Brad, you were telling me during the song about Charlie Sheen and how he is trying to start this one-man show. I guess I don't understand what he thinks he's going to do. Can you tell everybody about it?
Well, apparently he thinks he can just sell tickets to stand up in front of a crowd and kind of rant for a couple hours. He's already done a show, I think, in Detroit, and it did not go over so well. I guess he was booed off by a lot of people, and his show mainly consists of him getting up there and talking crazy Charlie Sheen. So doesn't sound like it's going over too hot so far.
Yeah, I would think maybe with some of his trouble that he's been in recently that people might not care or even want to hear him talk. I mean, they kicked him off his TV shows. They don't want him there, so maybe he thought, hey, I'm going to go out and I have fans and they still want to listen to me, but I guess maybe he's finding out differently.
I don't know. It seems like he just can't get enough of himself, and most people, when they're in the media all the time like this and they're on TMZ and all these other things, they usually try to back out of the spotlight so they can regain their normal life. But it seems like he's eating it up, and he just loves all this stuff and kind of encourages it. And he just keeps saying crazier and crazier stuff and becoming more and more of an icon for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, that's definitely not good. Well, if Charlie Sheen does decide to come through Des Moines, which I don't foresee happening in the very near future, we can all head out and check it out if you want to listen to Charlie Sheen rant about his terrible life.
I would probably check it out because he's completely crazy, and I like to listen to people say crazy stuff. So I'd probably check it out, and it sounds like he's actually sold quite a few tickets to these shows, even though the first one didn't go so hot. It sounds like there is an interest in hearing Charlie go off. So yeah, I'd probably check it out. Why not? What's up? You're listening to the Edge 88 KDPS. My name is Brad. I'm here with you on a beautiful Wednesday evening as we're getting ready to transition into those summer months, and kind of want to talk to you guys about a TV show I've been watching, and that is The Celebrity Apprentice. And I've never been a fan of this show before. I always thought it was kind of stupid, but since they brought some, I guess, pseudo-celebrities on, I kind of got a little bit of an interest, and I wanted to see what these people are made of, so I've been very impressed. It's crazy how much money the women in particular have been able to raise for the different charities that Donald Trump owns. I think in one episode, the teams combined were able to raise over $1 million, which was the record for the entire show. For an entire season they did in one show. So it's been pretty interesting, but it's all really led me to doubt even further Donald Trump's intelligence, because him and his son just say the stupidest stuff sometimes, and I'm like, I really cannot believe this kind of success that these guys have found. And after finding out a little more about Donald Trump, I found out his dad was also a billionaire, so I'm not really giving as much credit to the guy anymore. I don't think he's the mastermind that everybody thinks he is. I also found out that a lot of his businesses have actually failed, so Donald Trump isn't really the American dream, maybe like we had all thought him out to be. And now the latest news is that he might be running for president of the United States. I would say if that happens, we are all in a lot of trouble, because this guy is egotistical, he's full of himself, and like I said, I really don't think he's all that intelligent. So get out there and let the public know that we're not all right with Donald Trump running for president. We want a guy with some intelligence and some political skills to run this country, and Donald Trump is not that man. So watch Celebrity Apprentice because it's entertaining, but don't vote for Donald Trump because he's not an intelligent guy, and probably ruin the country even more than it already is. So keep that in mind when you're going out to vote next time around, that Donald Trump might be on that ballot card. Right now, I'm going to kick it over to the Strokes with Under the Cover of Darkness, only on the Edge 88 KDPS. Welcome back to the Edge 88 KDPS, about 7:30 here on a Wednesday night. You're hanging out with Brad and Amanda, and right now we have some stupid news for you that I hope you can find some humor in. Amanda, what do you think? What do you think you want first? Some old people news or something else?
I don't know. Old people news is always kind of funny, so
we'll go with the old people news.
I hate to laugh at old people, but sometimes they make it really easy.
Here's one. A 70-year-old man tried to evade capture by biting an arresting officer before he realized that he left his dentures at home. So instead of sinking his teeth in the officer's arm, he was only able to leave a gum mark on the guy's arm. And police spokesman said he tried to bite the officer several times but had forgotten to put his false teeth in, so he was unable to cause any harm. And I have another follow-up denture story for you. How about that? A 69-year-old man was in a nightclub when he started flirting with 37-year-old Tina Lang, who he met in a disco. And guess she said she wasn't very interested in him, but when she was leaving, he whispered something in her ear. He said, "I hope we'll see each other again." She said he then dropped something down her cleavage, which she thought was his phone number. She later found out was his false teeth.
Oh, that's an expensive thing to drop in between somebody's shirt. I mean, I don't know how you call your insurance company and say, "Hey," I don't know.
Completely disgusting, and you don't want to lose your dentures, especially down somebody's shirt.
I don't even think you'd want them back. That would just be a really awkward conversation.
He sounds like the type of guy who would probably want them back, I bet.
He'd probably reach in there and grab them himself if he was at a nightclub and that old.
Alright, how about one more old person story for you?
Alright, one more.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so this lady, apparently, 80-year-old New Orleans woman, called the police because music was too loud. She later found out that the music was coming from her own house, and may be charged with wasting the officer's time, because apparently she was outside doing some lawn work or something and turned her radio up. When she came back inside, she'd forgotten that she left her radio up on all the way and called the police on herself for a noise complaint. So
that's pretty bad too. Maybe she didn't have her hearing aid. Maybe she had her hearing aid when she was outside, so she knew. She took it off. We'll give her the benefit of the doubt on that one.
Plus, old people just like to call the cops.
Sometimes they just want somebody to talk to.
I know. They need to do a survey, because I guarantee people over 70 call the cops more than anybody.
That does make sense.
I used to have this old neighbor back in Iowa City. She lived underneath of me, and this lady would call the cops like if I sneezed. I swear to God,
Oof.
I would have cops on my front doorstep. So I think
did they bring you some Claritin?
They did not, but they always came expecting some kind of wild and crazy party, and it was just me in there watching TV. But I think after a couple times, they probably quit taking her so seriously. Gotta love crazy old people. Just the best. Well, we're about ready to sign out here for the night, so thanks for listening to us. We've enjoyed having you, and hope you enjoyed the show. Amanda, anything to leave us on? Or
not really. Just make sure you pick up Alt Magazine. And until next time.
Pick up Alt Magazine. Lots of hard work went into that, so show your support. It's free. Pick it up around campus. Thanks for listening to Brad and Amanda on the Edge 88 KDPS. What is up? Welcome to the BJ and Dunman Show, here live on a Wednesday night from the KDPS studio here in Des Moines, Iowa. Got a lot to talk about tonight, a lot going on in the sports world. First off, we want to say congratulations to the Grandview men and women on a fabulous basketball season. The men took a tough loss this morning at the NIAI Division II National Tournament in Point Lookout, Missouri. For more on that, here's our own Jeff Kahn and Molly Brown on the women.
Round 5. The game was tight through most of the contest before Grandview built a 53-44 lead at the 3-minute mark of regulation. Sioux Falls did lead at the half, 22-21. Grandview was led by senior Corey Beat with a game-high 26 points. Matt Malloy also scored 26 for the Cougars of Sioux Falls. Beat added 10 rebounds to record a double-double. Grandview's season ends at 25-8, while Sioux Falls improves to 25-9 and moves on to the second round to meet the number 1 seed in the tournament, Walsh of Ohio. Again, the final, Sioux Falls 69, Grandview 65. Reporting from Point Lookout, Missouri, I'm Jeff Kahn.
The number 17th ranked Grandview women's basketball team took on number 15 Minot State of North Dakota today in Sioux City on the opening round of NAIA National Championships. Although Minot was rated higher in the national rankings, Grandview was seeded 4th and Minot State seeded 5th in their pool. Vikings got off to a great start with strong inside play by senior Bailey Scheckinger and junior Danielle Ballard, and strong guard played from the outside from freshman Jennifer Jorgensen. The Vikings raced out to a 10-point lead, 29-19, at about the 10-minute mark. Minot State made a run, tying the score by halftime. The score was tied 32-32 at half. Minot State took a slight lead early minutes of the second half. The Vikings came back with strong bench play from Beth Ehlers, who hit a three-pointer and a bucket, and Jennifer Jorgensen's free throws to pull out a double-digit lead. The Vikings won the game 63-53, with Jorgensen finishing with a game-high 20 points. Scheckinger added 12 points.
All right, so the Viking women with a big win today. We want to congratulate them, and to the men, had a fabulous season and only going to get better next year. So good job, Grandview Vikings, and keep that good basketball playing going here for the school. Still no Dunman here in the studio. It's about 6:26. If you're out there, Dunman, give me a call up here. Let me know what's going on, buddy. Got a lot to talk about, a short amount of time to do it, so we'll try to squeeze that in as quickly as possible. Right now I'm going to go back to the music. Here's Joe featuring Papoose. What is up? Welcome back. Hanging out. Just BJ tonight here in the KDPS studios. The Dunman is on a baseball trip. Just found that out. You got to let me know sooner, Dunman. I got to know these things, brother, but it's all right. We're going to take care of it all by myself here tonight. First thing I want to talk about is this new Ben Roethlisberger situation. It's not been a big deal in the news. Nobody's really making a big story about it. This is the second time within a several-month period that someone has alleged sexual assault by Roethlisberger. And though nobody knows the details, there's certainly something to this story. It doesn't sound like any files are going to be charged. This man needs to be investigated because, something like this happens once in a lifetime. It doesn't happen twice in a several-month period. I was digging around last night looking at some of the TMZ websites and some of these other places, and no one's even covering this story. Don't want to start a whole, race conversation, but it's got to come into play the fact that this is the second time this has happened and nobody's even covering the story. I got to think of that if this was a Michael Vick thing or something, who was in the same situation as Roethlisberger, this would be front-page news all over the place. So I got to put that out there, and I want to bring this subject up because, athletes are treated unfairly based on how they're perceived by the public, and it's not just a color thing. It's, how they're presented. Athletes who come off as gangsterish or, not someone who's necessarily a great role model for the community, they're immediately persecuted anytime something happens, and people want to nail him to the cross and convict him right then and there. But you got a guy like Roethlisberger who seems to get the benefit of the doubt more times than not. So that's my take on that. I think athletes needed to be treated more fairly, more equally, and I think this situation is actually much bigger than what's going on with Tiger Woods and his alleged extramarital affairs. So I want to keep close to this situation and monitor it, see if anything comes of it in the upcoming weeks, because if nothing else, Roethlisberger's guilty of putting himself in bad situations over and over again. You got no reason to be at a college bar in the middle of nowhere. Pro football player, you gotta make better choices, better decisions, and if that's even a possibility, don't put yourself in that position. You make millions of dollars, so if you want to go out that bad, build yourself a bar and hang out there at your house, and you can invite girls who want to hang out with you and stuff. All right, I'm going to kick it back. When we come back, I got a lot to talk about. Nomar Garciaparra signs a one-day contract with the Red Sox and then retires. I'm going to tell you why when we return here on KDPS. It's been a good day to get out there and, do some fun physical activities. I actually saw a few people running around in shorts today. That's a little bit crazy. I don't know if I'll go for that quite yet, but get in the spirit, people, because the warm weather's coming, that snow's melting away. Right now, what I want to talk to you a little bit about is this Nomar Garciaparra deal. Everybody remembers Nomar's great days back with the Boston Red Sox in the mid-'90s when this guy was just tearing it up to look like a sure-thing Hall of Famer. Went to a couple different teams after that, including the Giants and the Dodgers, Oakland A's. But anybody who's followed this guy's career will always follow him as a Boston Red Sox. And that's why I think what he did today was so cool. It's pretty rare for an athlete to show any type of commitment to a team outside of their paycheck. So, it's whatever team's paying them, that's the team that they're going to be loyal to. Any old-time baseball fan knows that Nomar is a true Red Sox, and it's pretty cool that the Red Sox let him come back in and do that. Signed just a one-day deal and then retired. So if he were to go to the Hall of Fame, he will go as a member of the Boston Red Sox. That's a pretty cool deal. Not many players show that type of loyalty to their team anymore, so that's a pretty neat thing. Another thing I wanted to talk about baseball-wise is the Steven Strasburg kid from the Washington Nationals threw yesterday and looked real nice. He threw against Johan Santana, but he was able to throw 2 scoreless innings, gave up 2 hits, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. He had a pretty good game, and a lot of hype building around this kid, saying that he's the next coming or the next big thing. A big guy like that who can throw with so much velocity, you got to wonder how long the Nationals are going to keep him down in that minor league scene. And he looks like he's just going to be a phenomenal athlete, and I look forward to seeing him play in this upcoming year. And there's a lot of great rookies coming out right now, and if you want to see who's up and coming in the league, you watch the grapefruit leagues and some of the other leagues going on right now for some minor league baseball. Another guy cranked out a 450-footer the other day, and that was pretty impressive. A lot of young guys coming up through the ranks right now and getting ready to kick off the MLB season. Let's kick back to the tunes. I got some Usher for you. And then when we come back, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Browns, the Cleveland Browns situation at the quarterback spot, and we'll cover that here when we come back on KDPS. Welcome back. Thanks for listening to Edge 88.1 KDPS. This is Grandview Radio. Right now what we're doing is playing some of the hottest hip-hop and some old favorites. I gave you a double shot of Eminem there within the last 15 minutes. And we're the only station in Des Moines delivering you hip-hop like that, so stick with us if you're into your hip-hop, because we're the only ones doing it. Right now I'm going to talk a little NFL football. Today, or yesterday actually, the Browns released Derek Anderson and reportedly shopping their first pick from the 2006 draft, Brady Quinn, recently traded for Seneca Wallace from the Seattle Seahawks. And a lot of people think Seneca might be the next starter for the Browns. Yesterday, Derek Anderson came out and said he was happy to be released, that he was treated poorly, and he remembered a time when he was injured and booed when he came off. Actually cheered for the guy for getting injured, so that's some poor sportsmanship, Cleveland fans. No wonder this man wants out of your town. Want nothing to do with that, and he hopes he can land on another team and come back and stick it to the Browns the way they've stuck it to him. What my buddy Mark says the Browns are trying to do is score Donovan McNabb, and I don't really think they have enough trading firepower to make that happen. It would be an excellent move for them. I know Mike Holmgren would like to get an experienced guy in there at quarterback, like a McNabb or something, but they simply just don't have the trades or anything of interest for the Eagles to make that trade happen. So I honestly think Seneca Wallace might be the starter for the Browns this year, and any old-time Iowa State fans remember Seneca Wallace tearing it back up in the day, was a Heisman candidate, had the Cyclones ranked in the top 10 at one time, and was the best football team Iowa State's ever fielded, I think, when Seneca was on the team. So keep an eye out for him in the NFL. Hopefully he can make an impact. A lot of stuff going on in the NFL right now, a lot of free agents. Thomas Jones signed with the Chiefs yesterday. A lot of running backs available. You still got guys like LaDainian Tomlinson out there who nobody has picked up yet. Others include Willie Parker and a lot a lot of older veterans who still got some carries in them. Could definitely be a second punch for a team who wants to take a chance on him. T.O. visited with the Bengals today. Apparently they've decided not to sign him and have instead signed Antonio Bryant to a short-term deal, and they're much stronger at the wide receiver. So a lot of moves in the NFL this offseason. You saw the Bears just signed Julius Peppers to a deal. They obviously don't have any draft picks because of that trade they did for Jay Cutler last year. So some teams are beefing up through free agency and others are going to do it in the draft. Right now, it looks like Sam Bradford is number 1 on the draft board, and it looks like the Rams are most likely going to take him with that number 1 overall spot. It's important to get a quarterback in that top 5 and establish yourself a long-time starter. It's the most important position in the league, and hopefully somebody can take advantage of the fact that it's a good field of quarterbacks this year and a lot of guys who I think have NFL potential. We saw Jimmy Clausen's pro day. He looked pretty good. So expect 2 to 3 quarterbacks to go in the first round of the draft. A lot of other stuff going on in the NFL. We don't have time to cover it all. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about this NASCAR wreck that happened the other day and why NASCAR fans think something needs to be done to protect the drivers a little bit more, despite NASCAR coming out and saying that, Robin's race and they want good, aggressive driving out there, but what you saw Sunday was a guy's life could have been on the line there. So we want to talk about that when we get back here on the Edge 88 KDPS. What is up? Welcome back to the show. Hanging out by myself tonight here at the KDPS studios. We got No Done Man. He's on a baseball trip representing the Grandview down in Florida over this spring break holiday, so best of luck to the men's baseball team. Real quick, I want to spend a quick minute with this NASCAR incident that happened last week, and I want to talk a whole lot about it because I don't watch NASCAR, I don't know a whole lot about it, so I don't want to overstep my boundaries, but what we saw Sunday was completely out of line. Here's a guy in Carl Edwards who was apparently down over 100 laps, was driving close to one of his, I guess you would call, enemies, Brad Keselowski, and this is a guy who's had problems with Carl Edwards before. Apparently there's been a lot of bumping going on between these guys. Edwards saw his chance. They were going about 190 down a straightaway, and he completely takes this guy out, hits his back end, flips him end over end. This guy very easily could have gone to the grandstands, ended up killing somebody. It's pretty lucky that he didn't. What was even worse about it was that Edwards didn't really seem too remorseful about the situation. Pretty much said he would have done it again given the same opportunity. NASCAR steps in today and gives Edwards a 3-race probation, which is really a slap on the wrist. They're really not going to do anything about it. It brings into question the legitimacy of your sport. Things like hockey where they let fighting go on, and NASCAR where they're now letting guys wreck into each other. It seems like you're really reaching for an audience there when you let guys do things outside the sporting arena to gain interest. Things like causing accidents or starting a fist fight out on the rink. If it's a great sport, there's going to be followers and there's going to be people who want to watch it, not for the fighting or the wrecking or anything like that, but because they want to see a good athletic competition. And when leagues allow things like this to go on, it brings up the legitimacy of their sport. It almost turns into a WWF type thing where they're not interested in who's winning, but how many people are watching, and it's really becoming not even of importance anymore. I really need to step in and do something about this, because pretty soon you're going to have guys just tuning in to watch guys wreck other guys. That's not what sporting's all about, and if you're into that, you should be watching pro wrestling or some other type of fake event. You can't really categorize these things as sports. So that's my take on that. Clean it up, NASCAR. You don't want to see anybody killed out there. Let's see what else we got going on here tonight. Busy week in sports. When I come back, I want to talk real quickly about ex-heavyweight boxing champion James Toney has signed a multi-year deal with the UFC, and I want to cover that when we come back here on the Edge 88 KDPS studios. Right now, let me kick some tunes for you. Here's some old school G Unit with Hate It or Love It. Welcome back. This is BJ hanging out live here at the KDPS studio. As I mentioned earlier, no Dunman tonight. He is not going to be with me this week, and we got spring break next week, so won't be hearing from the Dunman for at least a couple weeks. So I'm going to have to cover this thing by myself tonight. Right now I'm going to talk a little bit of MMA. Recently, James Toney, 40 years old, former heavyweight champion boxer, signed a 4-fight deal to fight with the UFC. He will fight in the heavyweight division. A lot of people question if this is the right move for Toney in his career. He's not great at conditioning and never been a workout warrior, so to speak. And at his age, it's going to be hard to not only make that weight that he wants to be at, but to continue to maintain it and keep a healthy fighting weight. It's real interesting lately. A lot of guys from other physical sports are crossing over into the MMA arena. We're seeing a lot of championship college wrestlers along with boxers now getting into MMA. It's pretty cool to see all these guys from different fields of physical battle kind of meeting in the middle and seeing, kind of which one's going to reign supreme. We've seen a lot of wrestlers have had success in the UFC in the past. That seems to be the greatest one with Brock Lesnar, your heavyweight champion, of course, George St. Pierre, an excellent wrestler. And now you're starting to see some boxers get into the game, so pretty soon we're going to have a mixed arena of all different types of strategies and stuff going down in the UFC. It's going to be interesting to see which one wins out in the long run. Things are definitely going to start getting more interesting here in the UFC. They're hiring some notable names out there. They got the Kimbo deal going down, and he's hopefully going to be fighting here pretty quick. And like I said, guys like James Toney coming from boxing and other sports. So look forward to seeing that in the upcoming weeks. To kick it back to the tunes when we come back, I'm going to give you the weekly Beast of the Week segment. I'll tell you who I got for that and more here on Edge 88 KDPS. Welcome back. You're listening to Edge 88 KDPS, about 7:50 here on a Wednesday evening. About 45 degrees out right now. As promised, I'm going to deliver you with my Beast of the Week. And this week goes to Steven Strasburg, rookie pitcher for the Washington Nationals. Had a great rookie outing yesterday, as I mentioned earlier, through 2 scoreless innings, had 2 strikeouts, only gave up 2 hits. Outstanding-looking young man. Threw 100 miles an hour several different times, 80-mile-an-hour breaking balls, 90-mile-an-hour changeups. I mean, it's just all there. The catcher for the Nationals, Will Naive, said it was just amazing watching this young kid in his opening day and what he was able to do. It's changeups, it's great stuff. It's all great. You throw 100 miles an hour and then you can vary that speed and throw 80-mile-an-hour breaking balls. You're going to be a force to be reckoned with in baseball for a long time. And I think this kid might be just what the Nationals needed. And look for him to be up in the majors real quick, making a lot of pitches, and hopefully bring that Nationals team into the spotlight where they've been unable to do since moving to Washington a couple years ago. I'm going to kick it back to the tunes. I don't have much time left, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to come back and give you the weather and pass it on to the next group. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight here on Edge 88. Stick with us. Welcome back. As promised, I got a quick weather report for you before I head out here tonight, here on a Wednesday. It's about 7:54 for tonight. 39 degrees, a chance of rain later on. Winds north to northeast at 5 to 10 miles an hour. 90% likely we're going to get rain tonight. Tomorrow, 48 degrees for your high. Showers all day long. Precipitation is a 50% chance. And for tomorrow night, showers continue late into the evening. It's going to be a low of 37 degrees as it continues to rain. So be prepared for that tomorrow. Wear your raincoat, bring an umbrella, do what you got to do. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight here at Edge 88, talking sports, listening to rap music, and more. Be back with us two Wednesdays from now at 6 o'clock. Me and the Dunman back at full swing here at Edge 88. Thanks for listening. How you doing, Des Moines? Welcome to the show. This is the Thursday Night Sports Report. I am your host. My name is BJ. I'll be rocking out your speaker box from 10 to midnight this evening. Thanks for joining me. I have a whole lot to go over tonight. We're going to talk about a little recap of Iowa and Iowa State's games from last weekend, as well as a look at their upcoming games. We're also going to talk some MLB baseball, big one going on between the Phillies and Giants right now. Talk about the NFL and the rule change that's caused all sorts of backlash in the league this week. Plus, I'll have a whole bunch of prizes to give away and more, so stick around. It's the Edge 88.1 KDPS. Alright, Des Moines, that was Flo Rida with Right Round here on Des Moines Shuffle Station, Edge 88. As promised, we're going to break down a little bit of Iowa and Iowa State football from last weekend. Starting out with Iowa, I was very impressed with Iowa's victory over Michigan last weekend in Ann Arbor. I knew Iowa had a good defense, and their defense was good enough to win this game by themselves. I really felt like if the game turned into an offensive shootout, that it was going to favor Michigan because of the firepower that quarterback Denard Robinson brings to the table. He's got the rushing and the passing. The guy is throwing for 200 and rushing for 200 on average. So I really felt like if the Hawks had to score more than 28 points, that it was definitely going to favor Michigan. Iowa really showed a lot of people that they have the type of offense that can score with anybody last weekend. I didn't think they'd be able to go in and put up that many points in a hostile environment like that, but quarterback Rick Stanzi, his connection with wide receiver Darrell Johnson-Koulianos, it's outstanding. I think DJK is one of the most underrated receivers in the country, actually. It's probably because Iowa doesn't throw the ball a whole lot, but he's really a special kid. He's going to break all kinds of records, maybe go down as one of the best receivers Iowa's ever had. He was absolutely explosive last weekend. He's been great every single weekend, so he's absolutely a huge piece for Iowa right now, especially having running backs that are hurt for them right now. So if they can keep that passing game going, I think they can beat anyone with their offense. And they're going to need to keep up that kind of dominance if they're going to beat Wisconsin this weekend at Kinnick. Wisconsin's very dominant on both lines, defensively and offensively. Wisconsin's always got one of the biggest offensive lines in the country. They like to run the ball, really run the same kind of offense Iowa does, a lot of short out routes to the tight ends, little rushing plays. So very similar offenses, built structurally the same way, both very big, dominant lines. So for Iowa to capitalize, they're going to have to keep the passing game going the way they have the last couple weeks. The running game's not going to be there like it was against Michigan because, like I said, Wisconsin's very dominant up front. So if they're going to win this game, beat the number 13 Badgers, the key is going to be the connection between Darrell Johnson-Koulianos and Rick Stanzi. So look for that one. Very important for them to win this weekend. For Iowa State, they're coming off their second straight loss, 30 points or more. It's safe to say they're feeling down in Ames right now. Iowa State did show some promise early in the year. They scored 50 on Texas Tech, 35 on Utah the week after that, even though they lost. But they're shut out 52-0 by Oklahoma last weekend, and the Cyclones are reeling. They'll try to rebound against the Longhorns this weekend. Not a good weekend to play the Longhorns. They're coming off their biggest win of the season in a 20-13 victory over the former number 5 Nebraska Cornhuskers. Iowa State's best chance for success this weekend, same as Iowa, they're going to have to get the passing game going. The Horns showed last weekend that they can stop the run with anybody. Nebraska came into that game with the number 1 running offense in the nation. Quarterback Taylor Martinez was rushing for around 200 yards a game. Texas held him to only 24 yards, probably ending his Heisman campaign right there in Lincoln. So if Iowa State wants to win this game, they're going to have to do it in the passing. Texas showed last weekend they can be beat in the passing game. Nebraska missed several opportunities, dropped a bunch of wide-open passes, probably would have won them the football game. So there's some holes there if you can exploit them. Texas's offense has been pretty lackluster all season long. They're in the lower half in rushing and passing. They don't score a whole lot of points. So if Iowa State can get off to any type of early lead like UCLA did against Texas, they might be able to hold on to it. You never know. So Iowa State's best chance for victory, get the passing game going, get some points early, establish a lead, and maybe you can keep it because, like I said, Texas has shown that they're not going to go out there and run the scoreboard up. So get some early ones up there and you might have a chance. Iowa State's going through a really tough stretch in their schedule right now, so anything they can build off that's positive is good for them right now. Just so they can get back to a winning mentality. They started out 3-1, they're now 3-4, so anything Iowa State can get going positive their way is going to be good for them. stick around. I'm going to kick it back to the tunes. When I come back, I'm going to give out some prizes, so be sure to stick around for that. This is The Edge, 88.1 KDPS. Alright, how you doing, Des Moines? Welcome back to the show. This is The Edge 88. As I told you before, I've got a great Halloween prize for you this weekend. Right now, I'm going to give the first 5 callers at 263-2985 free tickets to the Lights and Love costume party going on tomorrow night at All Play in downtown Des Moines. This event is going to feature performances from Mikhail Williams, Cleo's Apartment, DJ Deuce, great drink specials, and a $100 prize for the best costume. Again, that's the Lights and Love costume party going on tomorrow night at All Play, located at 615 3rd Street in downtown Des Moines. And I'm going to give free tickets to the first 5 callers. Give me a call right now, 263-2985. I'm going to set you up with some free tickets to the concert tomorrow night. This is The Edge, 88.1. Alright, that was Katy Perry and Snoop Dogg. I still got some tickets to give away for the concert at All Play tomorrow night. You can give me a call at 263-2985 to claim yours. Right now, still got a couple left, so first 3 people to call me will get tickets to the concert at All Play tomorrow night. Right now, we're going to talk about this huge rule change going on in the NFL this week, as voted on by the owners, who have voted to suspend players for head-to-head collisions and what they deem to be devastating hits, though there's not an actual definition for devastating hits. Anybody with half a sense can kind of understand what these guys are talking about. There's a huge uproar among players in the NFL right now, especially defensive players like Ray Lewis, who doesn't think he's going to be able to play the game with the same kind of aggression anymore. And several players have said they're considering retiring in lieu of this new rule going on in the NFL. Let me point out that there's a fine line between playing good, hard, aggressive football and looking to hurt a guy. If you look at the UFC and boxing, even though these are all-out, hand-on-hand combat sports, there's still rules. You know, in the UFC, you can't knee a guy to the head while he's down. There's no headbutting. Several rules like that. Same with boxing, you know, no low blows, elbows, things of that nature. And the competition still seems to go on. The fans still seem to have a great appreciation for what these guys are doing. And there's no difference in football. It's a contact sport, but there's a difference between looking to play hard, make a good football play, and looking to injure a guy. It's become a huge issue this season, especially the last couple weekends. This weekend specifically, there were 3 guys that sustained major concussions on illegal helmet-to-helmet hits. No one's telling these guys that they can't play hard football. All they're saying is you don't use your head as a battering ram. The helmet's there to protect you. It's not there to be a weapon. If you're so violent of a person you can't distinguish between playing hard football and looking to hurt a guy with your helmet, maybe you shouldn't be playing football. Maybe you should retire. You know, it's a part of the game, and guys are going to get hurt, but it's unnecessary to look to intentionally injure an opponent. And it actually weakens the product on the field, because as we're seeing all these guys going out with concussions, and all the backups are playing right now, because guys are out 2 to 3 to 4 weeks with concussions. And it's not been a big issue in the past because the NFL has always kind of turned a blind eye to concussions, not realizing the devastation that they can cause later on in these guys' lives. So now that we're seeing the team doctors and more health regulations stepping up, it's starting to really come to light how much of an issue this really is. Several players were fined last weekend for more than $50,000 on hits that were deemed to be illegal. And there's no reason why you can't play the game hard and still not look to hurt a guy or risk injury to your opponent. I understand it's going to happen, but it seems like a lot of the time it's almost intentional. So my take on the rule is that if you hurt an opposing player with a devastating hit, or what's deemed to be an illegal devastating hit, you should sit out as long as it takes that guy to heal and get back out on the field. Because if someone can't play because of a hit that you made illegally, I don't see any reason why you should be able to play. So maybe instead of a suspension, you do something like that, where that guy can come back out on the field as soon as the guy that he hurt can return to the field. So I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this and feel like it's a necessary evil for the NFL, but It's really not. More and more information's coming out about the long-term health effects. We're finding out about all these guys who have dementia and Parkinson's and Alzheimer's in their 50s, and it's because the NFL has turned their back to concussions for so long and allowed guys to sustain these and keep playing after sustaining a serious head injury like that. People don't understand this is swelling going on in your brain, and the only way to combat this problem is by doing exactly what the NFL is doing, and that's by suspending guys that are making illegal hits. If that's something you're looking to do and you're looking to take out a guy, maybe you should look into hockey or something, because that seems to be, they let more of that stuff go on there, but you can't have these full-grown men, 250 pounds, 300 pounds, flying in, hitting people with their helmets. It's absolutely a health problem. It doesn't have to be a part of the game, and you can still keep the same product on the field without risking such high injury to people. And I know guys are bigger, faster, and stronger than ever, but that doesn't mean there shouldn't be regulations on what goes on the field. So that's kind of my take on that. Like I said, I know a lot of people are going to look the other way at this and kind of disagree with me, but that's kind of how I feel on it. I'm going to get you back to some tunes here. I got some T-Pain on the way for you. Come back, we'll talk a little bit of MLB baseball, some games going on right now, a couple big game sixes, the NLCS and ALCS, so we'll run that down when we return here on the Edge 88. Stick with me. Welcome back, Des Moines. How you doing tonight? It's about 11:27 here on a Thursday night. We've got about a half an hour left in the show, and we're going to talk a little bit of baseball right now. Philly's able to stay alive tonight in Game 6 against the Giants. Roy Halladay fights off an injured shoulder to keep the Phillies alive against the Giants this evening. That game did take place in San Francisco, and the Giants still maintain a 3-2 series lead as they head back to Philadelphia for Game 6 on Saturday. Yesterday, the Yankees defeated the Rangers to remain alive in the ALCS. Rangers had two pretty big critical errors in the very first inning of the game. Had an overthrow to third base, which allowed Jorge Posada to score, and then an overthrow to home plate, which allowed another run to come in. Ultimately gave up 3 runs on errors in the very first inning. Rangers never were able to come back from that early lead that the Yankees established, and the Yankees also stayed alive in that series. Rangers still maintaining a 3-2 series lead going into tomorrow's game in Texas. Yankees are really hoping they don't have to face Cliff Lee tomorrow or in a possible Game 7, which in all likelihood they will. This guy's been absolutely electric the entire postseason, and really his entire postseason career. He's got an ERA of under 2, averaging about 9 strikeouts per game, and he's undefeated. So if you have Cliff Lee on the mound, you're almost guaranteed a win. So it's really going to be hard for the Yankees to come back if they're not able to pick one up tomorrow, regardless of who the pitcher is. They absolutely don't want to see this guy again, because it'll in all likelihood be the end of their season. If anyone's pulling for the underdogs or the Yankees and the Phils right now, it's got to be the commissioner of the MLB, Bud Selig, because ratings in baseball right now are absolutely at an all-time low. On Monday, Game 3 of the ALCS between the Rangers and Yankees had less viewers. This is almost embarrassing to say. Less viewers than a rerun of Jersey Shore and a Monday Night Football game between the Jaguars and Titans. And you're talking about two of the least marketable teams in the entire NFL, and the Jags and Titans. Probably two of the least liked teams in the NFL. You know, there's not a lot of flash. They're really, really small market teams with not a lot of fans outside of their own state. And still they're able to get more viewers than a big game between the Yankees, who were supposed to be the best of the MLB, playing the Rangers. So when the NFL's worst is outscoring the MLB's best in a game that really didn't matter, it really strikes some red flags for the MLB. So they've really got to be hoping that the Yankees and Phils somehow manage to pull this thing off, because if it ends up being a Giants-Rangers World Series, you know, I like baseball, but if you're not a huge baseball fan, nobody's going to watch that. They're two small market teams in the Giants and the Texas Rangers. The Rangers filed for bankruptcy in the middle of the season. They barely had enough money to keep the club going. So that really just speaks to how small of a market they're dealing with. So if the MLB wants to get great ratings, they're absolutely going to have the Phillies and the Yankees get in there. Otherwise, it's really going to point out how low baseball has fallen. You know, baseball, it's America's pastime. I don't think it's America's future, however, because if it was, these ratings wouldn't be so low. It's getting down to almost the hockey-type ratings where, you know, if you watch the NHL regularly, you know that last year's playoffs were actually outrated by the Spelling Bee, which was going on at the same time on ESPN. So almost twice as many viewers watched the Spelling Bee as did the NHL playoffs. And sadly enough, it looks like that's kind of the same road baseball is heading down. It's sort of a niche sport like tennis or golf or hockey. And really, NFL is king right now, and everybody's watching football. So MLB needs their two best teams to step up. Like I said, we got about half an hour left in tonight's show. I still have some tickets left for that concert going on at All Play tomorrow. You can call and claim a ticket at 263-2985. Again, you give me a call, I'll set you up with a ticket for tomorrow's concert. There's going to be prizes, giveaways, and performances by several DJs and artists. It'll be a great event, costume party, and a fun thing to do on a Friday night. So if that's something you're wanting to do, you can give me a call at 263-2985. We'll come back and do a segment I like to call Dope of the Week, where I point out a Nimrod in sports from this week and tell you what they did. Stick around for that. I also got a weather report with you. Keep it locked on the Edge, 88.1 KDPS. Alright, that was Lady Gaga here on the Edge 88, and there is nobody bigger than Lady Gaga right now. And if you're looking for a good Halloween costume, I saw on Juice today that people are going as Lady Gaga, so maybe wear meat on your head or something. I guess that's what she's doing at the MTV Music Awards. She was wearing some kind of meat on her head. I guess that's a new fashion, is to wear dead animals on your head. So, popular artist and a popular costume. So if you're heading to the All Play event tomorrow night, be looking for Lady Gagas, because apparently they're going to be out everywhere. As I told you earlier, I got a segment I like to call Dope of the Week, and this is where we talk about an idiot in sports from this week. And this is something that's been going on for a couple weeks now, but I think it's worth mentioning, and I think I can make this guy my all-time dope, and that is Brett Favre. There's got to be nobody stupider in sports right now than Brett Favre. This is a guy who can't go to the dentist without it being on ESPN, but somehow he thinks he's going to be able to send pictures of his junk to some Jets intern and get away with it without anybody finding out. Wake up, dude. You can't even walk outside your house without 10 reporters snapping pictures of you. What makes you think that you're going to be able to pull off some affair with an intern, send naked pictures over to yourself? Not only that, you're married is one thing, man. And what happened to the days of when you liked a girl, you send her some flowers, maybe invite her out to dinner or something? When did it become cool to send pictures of your junk? Is that some kind of is that the way that to get girls these days, or what? Because it seems more and more popular. Especially you hear about all types of athletes now that are getting in trouble for sending pictures of them naked selves to random women and stuff. You gotta know this stuff's gonna surface somewhere. 1. 2, nobody wants to see pictures of a naked dude. It's not a turn on. I really don't think girls are into getting pictures of a naked dude. And for Brett Favre to just, he hadn't even made contact with this girl, and that's his pickup. He's just gonna send a picture of his privates to her. I don't think that's how things work. Obviously, you made a couple phone calls. She didn't return your call. She wasn't interested. I don't think you're going to seal the deal by sending a picture of your privates to her, man. So, the big-time idiot is Brett Favre, and I think it's only a matter of time till you start seeing all kinds of women, just like with Tiger Woods, coming out of the woodwork talking about their relationship with Brett Favre. So, you know, if this is one incident, and you can't tell me that his first act of promiscuity is this one, I highly doubt it. You know, there had to have been casual steps taken before he decided to go all out, start sending pictures of his junk. So really look for that. I really think in the next couple of weeks you can call me out on this one. You are going to see some women come out and talk about inappropriate relations with Brett Favre. So this could be a next Tiger Woods type of deal. No, he's not nearly got it as bad as Tiger did. I understand the situation's a little bit different, but still, absolute idiot. So that right there is my dope of the week. Probably be the dope for the next couple weeks, if not years, but I'll try to find something else for you for next week. Stick around. I'm going to give you some weather before I kick out here tonight here on the Edge 88.1 KDPS. All right, welcome back, Des Moines. I got a quick weather report for you. I want to thank you for joining me tonight on the Thursday Night Sports Report. My name is BJ. I'm here every Thursday night from 10 to midnight, so be sure to catch me next weekend at that time. You're always welcome to call, give me a request, maybe something you want to talk about. Always open, so keep us locked in your phone. Write us down with 263-2985. Appreciate everybody listening out there. Right now it's currently 44 degrees outside and clear. Pretty nice evening out. A little bit chilly. Tomorrow it's going to be absolutely gorgeous out. 75 degrees, clear, mostly sunny with a low of 56. No rain tomorrow. Get out there and enjoy your Friday night. And a whole lot of stuff going on in Des Moines tomorrow. For your Saturday, it's a 50% chance of storms, high of 70 degrees with a low of 56. So if you're heading out to the game Saturday over at Kinnick Stadium, make sure you bring your parka or raincoat or something, because it's most likely going to be a little bit rainy. For Sunday, it's going to be a high of 64 degrees, low of 49, and again a 50% chance of rain. And for Monday, high of 67, low of 47. It'll be partly sunny. So we still got some good weather coming up. It's not cold. It's not that cold out yet, so we've been pretty lucky so far. Hopefully we can keep this up and have a much better winter than we had last year, if we're lucky. So that is your weather forecast. My name is BJ, and again, I thank you for listening tonight. Always here at the Edge 88. Keep us locked on your dial. Thanks again.